Obergefell v. Hodges is more than just a case about gay marriage laws. It's a case about equality and acceptance of all citizens of the United States. It was a landmark case that completely changed the marriage rights of LGBTQ individuals and gave hope to thousands of Americans who struggle to get married just because of their sexuality. Obergefell v. Hodges is a combination case of 4 separate states refusing marriage licenses for same-sex couples. These states include Michigan, Tennessee, Ohio, and Kentucky. The case made it to the Supreme Court January 2014 and was concluded in June of 2015. There have been different court cases similar to this landmark case, but they have never made it to the Supreme Court. The Defense of Marriage Act stated that marriage was a legal union of a man and a woman and gave no room to expand to any other combinations. Through the case, the Defense of Marriage Act was found to violate the Constitution by discriminating against same-sex couples and denying them freedoms promised by the 14th Amendment. Same-sex marriage was brought to the Supreme Court because Obergefell claimed it violated the 14th Constitutional Amendment, particularly the Due Process Clause and the Equal Protection Clause. The Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment states that the state cannot enforce a law that abridges the privileges of a citizen, or a state can't deprive a citizen of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or in other words, fair treatment through the normal judicial system. The Equal Protection Clause states that no state should deny any person with its jurisdiction.
The argument Obergefell proposed to the Supreme Court was that same-sex partners should be able to sue Ohio, Tennessee, Michigan, and Kentucky state agencies for not allowing same-sex marriages. The Due Process Clause says it is one's right to have their marriage recognized by the state because it is a fundamental liberty, and the state cannot deny this law without justification.
Hodges responded by stating that the 14th Amendment was not breached by this because there is no direct statement about marriage, which means marriage laws are state by state, and any state has the right to decline a marriage license for anyone. They also believe that restriction of marriage licenses is not discrimination and just codifies the tradition of opposite-sex marriage only. They claim that making a unionized definition for marriage would take away a large portion of a state's power, and also that same-sex marriage is not truly marriage because marriage is defined by the legal unionization of a man and a woman and leaves no gray area for same-sex partners.
In the end, Justice Anthony Kennedy made the final decision of a 5-4 decision for Obergefell. It was concluded that the Due Process Clause guarantees the right to marry as one of the fundamental liberty rights it protects. It is a fundamental liberty because it protects the association between two people, even same sex. It also protects families and children because it grants legal recognition to building a home and raising children. Denial of same-sex marriage would violate the Equal Protection Clause because denial of this would deny these couples equal protection under the law. In conclusion, Justice Anthony Kennedy says same-sex marriage respects marriage and wants equality in the eye of the law. He says, no union is more profound than marriage, for it embodies the highest ideals of love, fidelity, devotion, sacrifice, and family. In forming a marital union, two people become something greater than they once were. As some of the petitioners in these cases demonstrate, marriage embodies a love that may endure even past death. It would misunderstand these men and women to say they disrespect the idea of marriage. Their plea is that they do respect it so deeply that they seek to find its fulfillment for themselves. Their hope is not to be condemned to live in loneliness, excluded from one of civilization's oldest institutions. They ask for equal dignity in the eyes of the law. The Constitution grants them this right.
The outcome of this case was extremely inspiring for thousands of same-sex couples that had previously been denied marriage licenses. It gave the right to any couple, same-sex or opposite sex, to legally marry. It also took away the individual state's power to restrict marriage licenses. The second-hand economic implications of this case were also very impactful due to the fact that this meant any same-sex couple could get married. Thousands of couples got married shortly after this case. This meant that employers of these people now had to give them full marriage benefits. All in all, this case was completely necessary and overdue. Previous to this case, there had been a handful of similar situations where the same-sex couple ended up losing. This restored faith to thousands of Americans, and it's a good representation of the Constitution being applied to modern day issues.